Hello everyone, it's William Plant, a real estate agent at EXP Realty, and in today's video, I am going to share some very important information for those considering joining the agency in 2024. We're going to talk about the nuances that few agents know regarding the EXP Realty agency compared to the models and all that, so if you want to learn more, obviously, stay until the end. The first point I wanted to discuss with you today is the change of sponsor, so the change of parrain, because it is something that is quite complicated at EXP. Because, in fact, for those who are not familiar with the model, when you join EXP, you need to choose who will be your sponsor, who will be your mentor, who will ultimately help you take your business to the next level. It's important to know who you will be dealing with. If you don't know how to choose your sponsor, go back and check my videos, I have one, where we discuss the topic. So the only way to change sponsors is to leave the agency for a period of 6 months. So if the person who sponsors you isn't working out, you will need to leave the agency for a duration of 6 months to re-sign with another sponsor. People will do this for a single and unique purpose. Often, it is for what the sponsor will offer, in terms of training, in terms of support, etc. So sometimes, for training, people will really take the time to wait 6 months. So that's why it's important to take the time to choose your sponsor, and if you ever need information on that topic, go back to my previous videos. Of course, we discuss it there. It is often said that EXP is a virtual agency without local support, which is completely false. Wherever you are in the world, whether in Canada, the United States, Brazil, Morocco, or anywhere else, you will have local support. Of course, we have agency directors who are present for each country, with specific agency directors for certain regions. We have someone available to answer your questions, whether it's about transactions, technical issues, or anything else. We have someone available for you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. This can also be related to EXP. What is EXP? It is a model we have at EXP that ensures that from the date of the notary, if you have all the necessary documents, you will receive your commission 3 days after the date of your notary. So you won't have to wait a month or 2 for it to be notarized and for the money to transfer from one place to another. In short, you save a lot of time when it comes to receiving your commission. However, sometimes it can happen that you didn't have time to submit your document 24 hours before the notary's appointment. Well, that's where it gets great. We have resources all over the world that handle the administrative side, so if I, for example, who am in Canada, need help, I can call the resources in Canada who will be there to look into my file, check compliance, and ensure that I can be in express pay to receive my commission sooner. So that's fantastic. Obviously, with the fact that we are worldwide, it means we have people everywhere ready to help us, so you are never alone, just know that. Another very important point is the investment at EXP. We know that not all of us are finance pros. We are not necessarily always able to manage a budget properly, so having an incentive to invest money is 100% great. This means that you have a program at EXP where you can take 5% of your commissions, which you will never notice, and it will go directly into company stock. So your 5% might be worth 7, 8, or 9 in 10, 15, or 20 years, depending on how much the company's stock goes up. So, the other advantage of being listed on the NASDAQ is that we are regulated by the SEC, which stands for the Securities Exchange Commission. So, being certified, in reality, in fact, prevents making predictions about how much you could earn in several years with revenue sharing or even speculating on the amounts the company will distribute to partners. On the NASDAQ side, being in the stock market, if the stock doesn't increase in value over the next few years and remains stable, it still provides us with a sort of safety net. This means that if you take 5% of your income and put it in there, in 5, 10, 15, or 20 years, you will be able to recover that money you set aside indirectly because you put it aside, even though you didn't think of it as saving. So just for our future, having money like that set aside without necessarily realizing it can help finances in the long term. A lesser-known aspect of EXP Realty is that the model can differ depending on the country you are in. So in Canada, we operate on an 80-20 model. So, we give 20% in commission, and we receive 80% up to a limit of $16,000 in contributions. So, if you ever gave $16,000 in exchange for earnings, which means you made $80,000 in your year, at that point, after reaching $80,000, it's 100% in your pockets. It can also differ because in Mexico, we operate on a 75 to 25 basis. And this varies by country, whether it's in France, the United States, or elsewhere. If you want more details, take your time, go to the description, there is a link to reach me, Calendly, book a time, and then we can discuss it together. The famous offices. People keep saying, yeah, but where are the offices at EXP? Well, that's what's great. Since we are everywhere in the world but do not have a physical location, we have agreements with Regus, for example, which is a global office rental company. So, we have flat rates for those offices. Therefore, it essentially costs you about the same as a traditional agency in office expenses. Although sometimes, like here in Quebec, we have offices that we rent and operate as a group office, so we each contribute to make the monthly amount lower, which becomes more advantageous than a traditional agency like Remax, Sotheby's, Keller Williams, etc. And the other point to watch is the team structure at EXP, because if you have a team or are considering having a team, it can be extremely advantageous. Because earlier, during the staff meeting, I was telling you that we were on an 80 to 20 basis with a cap of $16,000. So as soon as we earn $80,000, we have paid our $16,000, which means that after that, we keep 100% of the commissions in our pockets. On the other hand, in team mode, it becomes more advantageous because if you have a small team, instead of being $16,000, the cap is $8,000. So as long as you have given $8,000 to the agency as a share of your earnings, the rest is 100% guaranteed in your pockets. But if you have a large team, a very large team, the cap instead of being $8,000 will be $4,000. Imagine how easy it will be for the people on your team to follow you at EXP, and how much of a financial advantage it will be because, unlike large brands, they won't necessarily have to pay higher agency fees just because they are part of your team. By being with your team, you have reduced fees, and even very low fees. The other question that I get asked a lot is whether we absolutely have to recruit at EXP. No, you do not need to recruit. 90% of people do not join EXP to recruit. 90% of people will prefer to take advantage of the reduced monthly fees we have at EXP, the revenue sharing fees on our commissions, and will also benefit from all the tools we offer, such as the 4 training sessions we have in the Wolf Pack. We have Mike Sherrard's on production, Connor Stenbrook's on real estate investment, and Matthew Larek and Marc-Andre Ferland's on production, but in 4K version. Francophone, and we have a training program that is 100% focused on the development of women in real estate. So, there are 4 training sessions that we have at EXP in the Wolfpack group, not including the more than 50 weekly training sessions that we have across the agency that are held on a weekly basis. So, every week, not counting the 4 training sessions we have internally, there are others provided by the agency. And the last point, and by no means the least, is the sharing of income that can be redistributed to your heirs. That is to say, throughout your career at EXP, and in real estate in general, of course, you will have people approaching you to ultimately join the model, and it doesn't matter anyway, and at that point, you will have a strong structure behind you. You might make $1,000, $2,000, $5,000, $10,000, $15,000. We don't know where it might lead us. This money is transferable to your heirs, meaning that if you have included it in your will, the revenue share will be transferred to, for example, your children. They will have 12 months to complete their real estate training, join EXP, and then benefit, of course, from your revenue share. Can ultimately bring them a very good income for life. So, you are securing a future for yourself and your children, of course, by joining EXP. If you want more details regarding revenue sharing, check it out. There is a Calendly link in the comments. Book a time and we can discuss it together. And there you have it. That's all for today. If you have any questions regarding EXP, or if you want us to clarify certain points, feel free to write them in the comments, and over the next few weeks, of course, we will respond. We would be happy to do so. With that, I wish you an excellent day. You can always book a time with me in the description, under the Calendly link. Obviously, we'll meet on the other side.